Hi, everybody. Mr. Rubo here, and we're doing the quiz review for 9.1 and 9.3. Um, and we're going to look at number 17 and 18 in this video. All right, so for these two, both cases, they are using De Moivre's theorem, but it's the root one because they're both asking for complex roots. First one's asking for cube root, second one's asking for a fifth root. So we'll deal with those in a second. So the formula, which we'll get, is z sub k, and it's the nth root of r, and then cosine of the angle divided by n plus, and I'll do it in degrees, so 360k divided by n plus I sine of the same exact thing. K over n. There we go. Lots of writing. There we go. All right. So the thing to remember with this, with these types of questions, first, whatever we're dealing with has to be in polar form. This is in rectangular, so we will have to convert that. Then the other thing is whatever the root is, that is not only our n. So when n shows up in the equation, that is our n value. So in this case, cube is 3, but that's also telling us how many answers we have. So that's where we get to choose our k value at the end, and we need to choose 3 consecutive k's. Easiest ones to choose are starting at 0, so 0, 1, and 2 will give us three answers that would be 100% correct, okay? Technically, you can choose any k values as long as they're consecutive, but just choosing 0, 1, and 2, or 0 to n minus 1, if you will, are going to be your best bet. All right, so here, let's go ahead and convert this first. So negative 8i, I'm going to plot that out. It's down here at negative 8, okay? So in rectangular form, it's negative 0 minus 8i, but in polar, I need to figure out the r. So the r is going to be from the pole to that point, which is 8. And then the angle is 3 pi over 2, or because I'm dealing with degrees in my formula, it's 270 degrees. Okay, you can do it either way. Both are 100% correct, but just because I'm doing it in degrees, just because I wrote the formula in degrees, I'll do it in degrees. Okay, so I can now write this guy in polar, so it would be 8 cosine of 270 plus I sine of 270 degrees. Okay, so at this point, we're ready to use De Moivre's theorem. So I'm going to leave k alone for right now. I like to simplify first and then do my k's afterwards. I feel like it's quicker. So I'm going to do the cube root of 8, which, hey, that simplifies. And then cosine of 270 divided by 3 plus 360k divided by 3 plus I sine of the exact same thing. Okay, so a lot of writing, but we just keep writing the same things over and over again. All right, so now let's get this simplified. Cube root of 3 is 2, and then 270 divided by 3 is 90 degrees, plus 360 divided by 3 is 120 degrees. So we got 120k plus I sine of same exact simplifying, right? 90 degrees plus 120k. All right, so at this point, we've done De Moivre's theorem. We now just need to choose our k's. And again, choose k equals 0 for your first one, because by making k equal to 0, it makes this easier, right? You make that 0, that means we get 2 times cosine of 90 plus I sine of 90. and you're done. They don't ask us to put it into rectangular form, so we're done with 0. But we need 3 answers, so we go ahead and go to the next k. And again, just you want to go consecutive, so you'll do z1 next. So everything stays the same, except you're now making k equals to 1. So you do 90 plus 120, which if you add it together, you get 210 degrees plus I sine of 210. Okay. And there's kind of 2 ways of, they're actually the same thing, but you could either like substitute in like k equals 1 and then simplify and then add, or once we know what this 120k is, that's what we're going to add from answer to answer, is 120 degrees for the angle. So with that in mind, for the next one, when I do z sub 2, still 2 in the front, but now for my answer, I can either substitute 2 in for k, which is 100% correct, or I can just realize, oh, well, if I add, this is just saying add another 120 to the previous angle. If you do that, you get 330 degrees plus I sine of 330 degrees. Okay. And then if you recall, if you try to go, like, let's say you forget that you only need 3 and you just kept going, your next one would be the coterminal angle of the first one. So that's why we don't need to do it anymore, because you'll just keep getting the same answers in just bigger and bigger angles. Okay. So yeah, these right here are your 3 answers. Okay, and we leave them in polar form. Don't have to convert them. If they were in radians, it'd be very similar. But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and do the last one on this review, which is this lovely one here where we are doing the 5th root. So n equals 5. But we first have to put this in polar form first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. So -1, +1, we're up here. And just like we've done previously on this page or on this review, draw the triangle, label the 2 sides, realize, that's a 45, 45, 90. So r is √2. And then the angle, well, the reference angle would be 45. So the actual angle is 135 degrees. Okay, we've done all that fun stuff just to get it prepared so we can go and use de Moivre's theorem again. So got here, should have it down somewhere as well. I'm just going to go ahead and use it, and then we're going to simplify. So z sub k equals, remember n here is 5, so it's the 5th root of the square root of 2. So we'll simplify that shortly, and then it's cosine of 135 divided by 5 plus 360k divided by 5 plus I sine of the same exact thing. Okay, so all right. So now is a matter of simplifying. Now, when you have a nested root like this, there's a little shortcut, but I'll show you like the full steps. So if you have the 5th root of the square root of 2, another way we can write this as 2 to the 1/2, that would be the square root, and then to the 1/5, which would be the 5th root. Power to a power means you multiply. So you get 2 to the 1/10, which would be the 10th root of 2. Okay, so that's how we deal with the nested roots. Really, the shortcut, though, is, hey, that's the 5th root. This is the square root, right? So there's an invisible 2 there, if you will. You just multiply them together, and that's how you get that. All right, so now let's do this. 135 divided by 5 is what, 27? If I can do my math right, hopefully. And then what, 72? Okay. When I do 360 divided by 5 plus I sine of the same thing. And not that I don't trust myself, but I will just double check my division because, you know, sometimes I'm really good at math, but the simple stuff I forget, I make mistakes with. It's like everybody does it. So give me 2 seconds. Yep, I was good. All right, so at this point we have it as simplified as it's going to go. So we now just need to get our 5 answers because that's what n is. So again, start with 0. 0 is your best friend. It's going to make it so much easier because that k equals 0 means there's nothing there, so it's just 27 degrees plus I sine of 27 degrees. There's our first answer. Let's keep it going. Answer number 2 is going to be when z equals 1. So again, the r stays the same. Cosine. Now, when k equals 1, I'm adding 72 every time. So that's where you're just paying attention to that number there. So if you add it together, 99 degrees plus I sine of 99. And then keep it going. Z sub 2, again, make k equals a 2. I didn't write it over there the last time, but that's fine. So that means I'm adding another 72, right? So that's kind of the shortcut, if you will, instead of substituting it in and simplifying every time. So you are doing 99 degrees plus 72. So, do your math. 171 degrees plus I sine 171. And we're down to we're at 3 answers, so I need 2 more. So Z3, so make k equal to 3. Again, it's the same as just add 72 to the angles. The only difference here, that's what's happening. So it's still the 10th root of 2, cosine of, and then when you add 72, 243 degrees plus I sine of 243 degrees. And then one last one because we are at 4 answers and we need 5. So z sub 4. R stays the same. Add 72 to the angle though. Cosine of, let's see, that's 5. 7, that's 315 degrees plus I sine of 315 degrees. Okay. And then again, if you didn't stop there and you kept going and you said like, oh, that means z equals 5, if you add 72 to this, you'll end up getting an answer that is 360 degrees away from 27, which is the same answer. So you don't want to do that. It's adding more work than it needs to be. But here again are our 5 answers, starting with Z0 all the way to Z4. So hopefully it's not too bad. Again, it's a little tedious, but the math itself is really just addition after you simplify what you have with the Moivre's theorem. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Have a good day.